following is a fan-based parody. JEM and The Holograms are all owned by Hasbro Entertainment. Please support the official release.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
The 80s. Ronald Reagan was in the White House, and Michael Jackson was the king of pop, of course. Disco was dead, and the radio waves were ablaze with the sound of new wave and glam rock. However, no band personified the decade so completely as the legendary group JEM and The Holograms. Glamour and glitter, fashion and fame.
It was the 80s, man. You could f yourself raw with a giant neon dildo on stage, and no one gave a shit.
We used to chug like 3 bottles of laxatives and hang our ass out the window at paparazzi. It was kind of our calling card.
But behind every great band is a dark side.
I just want one day where I don't peep blood.
It was at that moment I knew. I craved the taste of human flesh.
Join us for a truly outrageous look at JEM and The Holograms. Behind the music.
When we started this whole thing back in the day, I truly believed that Jerica had the best intentions. But somewhere down the line, she lost sight of everything.
I remember how it all began. With the unexpected death of my father, in his will, he left me Starlight House, this broke as foster home for girls. That thing was just hemorrhaging cash. I'd also got half the controlling interest of the Starlight Music record label. I thought maybe it could be the means for funding the house.
The other half of Starlight Music was given to savvy music exec Eric Raymond. It was no secret that Raymond wanted to phase Benton out of Starlight, and his plan to do so included an all-girl punk trio, The Misfits.
They were rude, crude, and unpolished, but I guess that was the appeal. Pizzazz Gabor and Jerica hated each other immediately.
Raymond had all but assured the Misfits victory in a highly publicized battle of the bands. However, the night before the event, Jerica received a mysterious package that would forever change the course of her life.
So she opens it up and it's these gaudy-ass earrings. They don't look like anything special. Jer's messing around with them, and lo and behold, this hollow appears and tells us to follow her. Now, I had just huffed a ton of model airplane glue, so I thought it was just par for the course, you know what I mean? But everyone else was talking to it.
We followed the hologram to a secret bunker that belonged to our father. The place had everything, a ton of ridiculously expensive clothes, an insane amount of instruments, and a pretty incredible car that belonged to Jerica.
Developed by Emmett Benton, Synergy was the ultimate audio and visual entertainment synthesizer, capable of producing truly convincing holographic images out of thin air and over organic matter.
I knew that if I was going to get full control of Starlight, I had to do something dramatic.
That next day, JEM performed with her band The Holograms for the very first time, and changed the course of musical history as we know it, forever.
Success was literally overnight. None of us were prepared for how dramatically our lives would change, especially Jerica.
I mean, to be fair, I was literally juggling 2 separate personalities, but as time wore on, yeah, I'll admit it, I got lost in JEM.
And that's when the drugs started.
So following this insane New York City gig, we had a gigantic after party at the Palladium. Anyone was there.
Destro and the Baroness, Panthro, Rainbow Bright. I mean, on any given night, the place was swarming with celebrities.
Jerica, JEM, started hanging with a really bad crowd. Denver the Last Dinosaur, Beastman, worst of all, Strawberry Shortcake.
King Strawberry Shortcake.
Strawberry Shortcake.
They were just jealous of her friendship.
JEM and Strawberry Shortcake's friendship opened up a whole new world for the pop star, a world of addiction.
So we're in the bathroom at the club and she goes, Jemmy, have you do cupcakes before? No, I'm no prude. I'm to the occasional birthday party, if you know what I mean. But I hadn't done them to any regularity or to excess.
The occasional cupcake turned into the occasional turnover, which turned into the occasional slice of pie, and then before you could even blink, Jem was polishing off a layer cake and a dozen brownies before every goddamn show.
Out of control. She was absolutely out of control. Her relationship with Rio disintegrated because she was having an affair with Denver for some sweets?
That's around when I left the band for the first time.
Disheartened by JEM's struggle with addiction and feeling underappreciated by her bandmates for her songwriting ability, Kimber split off and started a short-lived duo with Misfits band member Stormer.
The backlash was very real. It came from fans of both camps, but we didn't care. Music was fun again. Life was fun.
The partnership blossomed into a single album, world tour, and a whirlwind romance that lasted a mere 6 months.
While Kimber was off bumping clowns at Stormer, we were in the middle of the European leg of our own world tour. We had to do something. That's when Rhea joined the band.
Rhea and I got really close really fast. We're like soul sisters.
When JEM finally got clean and convinced Kimber to join back up, Rhea stayed on. I've often wondered how different things would have turned out for all of us if she didn't.
August 27th, 1988. A day that would prove to shake the very foundation of the music world.
So that evening, Rhea and Shana polished off a handle of bourbon each and hijacked the Rockin' Roadster. They said they were going to Starlight Music to take back control of the company once and for all.
Eric Raymond had just got out of a meeting with his latest musical acquisition, The Stingers, as Rhea and Shana snuck past security and busted into his office. A heated exchange of words took place, tempers flared, and suddenly the confrontation turned violent.
Rhea grabbed one of Raymond's Grammys off the shelf and started caving his head in. I just kind of froze. In a matter of seconds, he was a bloody heap on the floor. I thought, that's it. Our lives are over. She pulled a bone saw out of her bag and looked at me. Don't just stand there, she yelled. Help me get rid of the evidence. What are we gonna do with him, I said. We're gonna eat him, silly. She said it like it was the most normal thing in the world. And it was so good.
So began Rhea and Shana's descent into the world of cannibalism.
People were all like, did you hear? Eric Raymond's gone missing. Starlight Music is yours again. Starlight House is safe. We won!
That good feeling was short-lived.
Fraught with problems, things continued to spiral downward for the decade's most popular band. Aja, the band's most often forgotten band member, soon came to embark on a struggle of her own.
Nobody paid attention to me, except for Synergy. It was the only thing that understood me, the only thing that showed me the slightest bit of interest in my hopes and dreams. We had a secret relationship for years. That September in '88, Synergy was experiencing some boot cycling issues, and just one morning it blue screened on me.
Following Synergy's crash, the band canceled the last leg of the '88 Music is Magic tour.
Aja took it the hardest. As close as Synergy and I were, I had no clue they were f***ing. Absolutely no clue.
A few weeks later, I'm taking a shower, and I notice that my genitals have become pixelated. You know, like a mosaic or Asian porn or something.
A doctor visit would later confirm Aja's worst fears.
Miss Leith, the doctor said, I'm sorry, but you have HD HIV. My heart sank.
To me, that was it. That was the official end of JEM and The Holograms. The night I called Shorty and polished off 3 pecan pies with Denver.
Now, heavily using baked goods once again, Jerica turned Starlight House into a bakery.
To me, it was like the ultimate act of betrayal. It was like she flipped off everything we worked for.
At the time, Ray and I couldn't give a shit about the band, Starlight House, or anything except eating people. I knew we needed help.
Deep within the grips of their cannibalistic desires, Rhea and Shana journeyed to India to seek spiritual awakening and to cleanse themselves of their addiction to flesh.
We locked ourselves away for 3 days of constant meditation. I felt like a new person. I went to check on Rhea, and that's when I found her.
Unable to free herself from desire of human flesh, Rhea Alonso had eaten herself to death. Unable to cope with the grief, Shana returned home and confessed to aiding Rhea in the murder and consumption of Eric Raymond.
I mean, I want to say that it was a shock, but it really wasn't. I don't know why.
As a result, controlling interests in Starlight Music and all its assets, including Starlight House Bakery, were seized by the government.
Denver took losing the bakery hard. In a state of pure sadness and low blood sugar, he wandered into Liberia tar pits to die.
9 months later, JEM gave birth to her and Denver's only child, a singing and dancing purple dinosaur who later became known all over the world as Barney.
In those early days, I wrote all his songs and choreographed all his moves. It was great for a while, but it couldn't help me fill the void of losing Denver. Before I knew it, back on the sweets.
Following her diagnosis with diabetes 5 years ago, JEM has been confection-free.
Currently, I'm working on an album of duets with Wilford Brimley titled Diabetes Can't Beat Us. So look out for that.
Kimber has gone on to found the special interest group Musicians Against Baked Goods.
There is no place for refined flour and sugar in the music industry. End of story.
Aja is currently in her 27th year of living with HD-HIV and is the leading voice in bringing about awareness for this crippling disease.
You just gotta make the most out of every day, you have a pixelated pussy or not.
As for Shana, she is currently serving life without parole in California State Prison.
Had some ups, had some downs, ate some delicious people. Honestly, I wouldn't change any of it. Because if I did, I wouldn't be me now. And I love me now.
We asked JEM if there may be any potential for a reunion with the holograms of some sort down the road.
Don't hold your f***ing breath. JEM and The Holograms were a goddamn force of nature. It couldn't have happened any other time than when it did. It burned bright, it burned out, and it dangerously killed all of us. People like to wax poetic about nostalgia for the sake of it. Honestly, no one wants to watch a bunch of girls approaching their 50s singing those kinds of teeny bopper pop songs. I'm not gonna be one of those jokes trying to hit the same notes I did when I was 20 at a f***ing livestock festival in Ohio. I'm just JEM now, older, wiser, pastry-free, and I'm doing my own thing. JEM is my name. No one else is the same. JEM is my name.